How's everybody doing?
Doing all right.
What's up, chat?
Everybody having a good. Yep. Everybody having a good Father's Day weekend.
So far, so chill.
How's Florida?
It's hot.
It's
hot.
Out. A little hot here too, but probably not. What did the temperature?
A little
get
toasty
today?
in LA also.
What's toasty in LA?
Yeah.
The air. I don't know.
No. I mean, like what's
degrees.
Hot?
I'm like, I don't know. The
Marshmallows.
sun. Let's see. Well, right now it says, it's 78, but it's hot in the sun.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
That's like 78.
I realize acclimation is a thing too, so that's why I was curious what you guys consider
83.
really hot.
We have 83 over here.
Let me check the temperature here. At least I know on YouTube it's streaming on my end here. Let me check my temperature. It says 88 right now.
88? Where are you?
Kansas City. The Midwest.
Didn't expect it to be so hot.
Yeah, it's a little hot today. A little toasty. And in fact, we're going to be 90s. 90 today is the 90s. Tomorrow 90s. Tuesday will be 89, 88 on Wednesday. So pretty much right around the 90s for the next week.
So. 95 today. Oh my gosh. Anyway, 90s. Florida's a mess.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. You have rockets at least. I don't get those here unless it's going out in the middle of nowhere and watching little bottle rockets go up. So you can see you're
little bottle rockets.
You're in the Tampa area, right?
No, about actually Tampa's 45 minutes, hour tops.
Okay. But you should be able to see rockets.
No, we can't see them, but we can sometimes feel them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's awesome.
Or hear them, not
hear
them.
Yeah,
we can hear them.
Okay.
I wish we were closer. That would be cool.
And my dad lives in Tarpon Springs, and he can see rockets on the other side of Florida, over there. So.
Yeah, we're thinking about moving to the Space Coast. We'll see.
I'd love to move to the Space Coast. I don't think my wife would let me, just because she doesn't like the humidity. So, understandable. Oh. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and start about 10 minutes late, but that's okay. Welcome, everybody, to the Carbon Line Café and Orbital Velocity podcast, where we have casual conversations about spaceflight. This week, we have, once again, Brandon and Sarah together to talk about space topics this week. How was we already started to talk about it a little bit, but how was your guys' weekend last week?
For me, it was pretty chill. Did a couple of content, and we are actually in the middle of moving, so did a lot of home improvements.
Yes, I've been there. I was there about 6 months ago at our condo before we moved.
Yeah, it's a process.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
Brandon, what have you done?
Yeah, what have you done?
Yeah, nothing too exciting. Not moving, but trying to organize and belated spring cleaning around the house. So
spring cleaning,
anything out of frame is just not. You don't want to see it. It's just clothes everywhere. And
been there.
I have my dog on the floor. I don't know if you can see it.
No,
it's like chilling.
Don't see any dog. I see Pokemon in the background.
He's kind of.
My cat's in the other room. Make an appearance.
Yeah.
Space animals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, my dog.
How are you, Derek?
I'm doing all right. It just it's been yesterday a lot of cooking the last couple of days. The cooking is not stressful. I enjoy doing it. It just adds to my list of things to do.
It's a love language.
Of course. Then I had to do yard work for my in-laws' yard as well as my own yard. I don't like yard work. I don't like. Let me rephrase that. Well, no, there's no way to rephrase that. I don't like mowing the lawn, just because I don't mind mowing other people's lawns. I suppose I just don't like. Yeah, it's just a lot of upkeep, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
sounds fun.
Yeah,
more touching grass than what I did.
I was gonna say, if anybody has any tips for keeping spiders and spider webs off of a patio, let me know, because that's what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
What kind of spiders?
I don't know, all kinds. They all look different. They're just making a mess. Every night I gotta knock down new webs.
Well, go ahead and move on here a little bit, unless you guys want to keep talking. I don't mind. But
Space spiders. What do we
space
got?
spiders. Oh, yeah, they.
What's that Adam Sandler space movie with that spider? What
I
was
think
it?
there's a couple of horror
Oh
spider
yeah.
movies in
It's on
space.
Netflix. It was really
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
I
Good to
recommend.
not watch that. That sounds scary.
Good to not watch it.
I remember this really cheesy spider movie.
That's funny.
Gosh, I don't remember. My mom used to watch a lot of these B, C rated movies or whatever you call those. It's just really cheesy movies, and one of them was something about a spider. I don't know, but it's like a spider got loose on the space shuttle, caused it to crash, and it got loose in some city. It was probably LA, but I don't know what city.
Absolutely not.
So,
That's a
so
no.
it turned out to be a giant spider. It just grew. I don't. Yeah, I don't like spiders.
Me either.
Me neither.
No, nuke him from orbit. You gotta be sure.
Who's gonna be the one in the relationship?
Yeah. So before we go any further, I should probably get some of the housekeeping items done. Be sure to. So I gotta always do this. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I also want to say thank you to people who have subscribed over the last couple of years. We just hit or really the last week or two, we've been hovering right around 6,000 subscribers, and I want to say thank you for everybody that subscribed and stuck around over the years. And if you're new, thank you also for choosing to listen to us babble about space. And there'll be more long form contacts, words, more long form videos in the next couple of weeks. Yep, I write, So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but yeah, thank you for the continued support. I really appreciate it. The topics this week. We're going to go keep talking about Starliner since it's kind of the thing of the month, really. We're also going to talk about a couple of ISS items, although Starliner is on the ISS. We're going to talk about a couple of events on the ISS that happened this week. A little scary moment, as well as a canceled spacewalk and some really cool video that's been coming down from the space station. And we'll also probably end with a little update on the Artemis program, specifically the core stage, which there's some news about the core stage for the next space launch system. So I'm a little unorganized right now, if anybody listening can't tell. So we'll start with Starliner. And Sarah, did you say you had some stuff?
I just have some cool fun facts about it.
And while you're talking about that, I'm going to look up some of the video that I was hoping to share.
So if you guys know any of these facts, just kind of say. So one of the fun facts is other crew can utilize the Starliner for emergency evacs. So I don't know about that. Other than Sunny and Butch.
Yes, they've been practicing a lot of the safe haven techniques, basically making sure they can stay
I thought that was
Starliner.
a fun fact.
It is
that other crews can also drive it, and they've been testing it. So
hang on here real quick, make sure I get my chat pulled up in case somebody says anything. And I am trying to find. I'll start with this really cool photo, if I can get it on here, of the International Space Station taken by a Maxar satellite. I don't think I talked about that last week, did I?
Maxar satellite?
Yeah, Maxar satellite that took a picture of the International Space Station.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I don't cause any problems here. And if I go here to, once again, trying to share my screen. Let's see if it doesn't. There we go. Oh, no. Why is it always having the problems? Always having problems. Okay, share your screen. Technical difficulties. Actually kind of feels a little bit like Starliner sometimes. All kinds of hiccups every now and then. There's no helium leaks here, though.
Everything's a test.
That we know of.
That we know of, yes. You could have party balloons downstairs.
If you start talking in a higher octave, we'll know.
Yes. Okay, why? Come on. Well, does anybody else have this? Are you guys able to share your screen out of curiosity?
Let me see.
I don't know.
I don't know
why. I don't have any fun facts either, unfortunately.
Why is this one? I'm clicking on the share screen and it's not liking it. Oh, goodness. We're professionals.
Here we go.
That's
did you?
me.
Oh, you did that. Okay.
That's
If
totally me.
If I sent you, if I sent you the link, maybe you could post it. But I just gotta find everything. Like I said, I'm a little bit disorganized today. My ADHD's kind of kicked in a little bit, and oh, that's why I figured it out. Okay, just gotta find the right tab. This is the right tab. I'm gonna share my screen. I'll click on it. I think you guys can you guys all see, not to disrupt your stream there. Okay. So it should load if my computer doesn't freeze. So this yeah. You guys see it? I wish it would show up larger for everybody here. I guess I can see if I can.
I think I saw this online this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna mess with this a little bit here. So yeah, this is taken by a Maxar satellite. I'm trying to remember the exact details of how far away it was. I really like this because it, like I said, you can see Starliner there in the very front. Let me see if I can. Again, can you guys see my mouse? I think I asked this last time. Do you see it?
Not this time.
Not this time. It's not showing it this time. Okay. Well, regardless, you can see there the very bottom center, I guess, is the best way to describe it. You see the Starliner spacecraft.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the next spacecraft just above it, there's the Crew 8 Crew Dragon docked. So it's just kind of a really neat little photo of all that. And I think there's a close-up too. I was also wondering what the arm was doing. I could see the robotic arm underneath. I just don't know what it's doing. Okay, where did I go? Here it is. It's on this screen here, and I think, okay, that's the screen it was going for. Okay, I know where I'm at. So I'm gonna go back to the Twitter, and Maxar. I think there was a close-up of it too. I'm trying to, let me see if I can zoom in here for you guys too. Or that, oh, that was zoomed in. Oh, so there we go.
Nice.
Well, anyway, you can see the space station there. You can also, if you kind of see in the background, the space station I'm working on with my models up there.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, still a work in progress. One thing I also want to mention for anybody that's interested, give me a second. At some point, and we'll talk about this vehicle later, but at some point, I will release this. Let me go click on me again. Click on me. There we go. At some point, I have a model of the Lunar Gateway.
Nice.
Focus on the gateway, not me. So this is the space station that we're going to be sending. There we go. That will be launching to the moon in a couple of years, and that's what astronauts starting with the Artemis 4 mission will dock to using Orion, and eventually lunar landers will dock to this as well. And it's also going to expand. But I'm working on a paper model of this, and at some point, this is a prototype, and at some point, I'll release the final version for anybody to have, and they can make their own.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you said that's starting with Artemis 4.
Starting with Artemis. Yes, because Artemis 3 is just a moon landing mission. Orion is going to dock with the SpaceX lunar Starship, and they'll go to the moon that way directly. And starting with Artemis 4. Okay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I know that NASA has SpaceX with the Starship, and also Blue Origin doing a lunar lander.
Yes.
Is that still up in the air, or is it?
No, that's all under contract. So, starting with Artemis 3, it's a SpaceX lunar Starship. Artemis 4 is also a lunar Starship. It's an upgraded, sustainable development contract that they're going to be doing. And that mission will involve SLS launching another component of Gateway, and they'll dock with Gateway. But there will also be a Starship that will dock with Gateway as well, and they would do the transfer at the Gateway rather than just directly. And then starting with Artemis 5, that's when Blue Origin's lander will come in. And it'll basically be the same mission profile, but instead of a Starship, you sub out the Blue Moon for Starship, or vice versa. That you sub out Starship for Blue Moon.
Cool.
But that is tentatively scheduled for 2029, I think, maybe 2030. But this is a space time we're talking about. It's probably going to be a couple more years, but we'll see what happens. So we got Elon time, he has space time. So
That's true.
So yeah, there was a couple of videos that I wanted to show that. See if I could find it here. Let me go back to. Let me stop streaming this. That way we can. There we go. See faces. Somewhere. I said stop sharing. Somewhere. There was a video for the NASA. See, this is where if I hadn't had to say I had to, like, it's a problem. I actually really enjoy hosting people, but because of that, I didn't have time to actually gather some of my clips this weekend. So let's see, NASA Starliner tour. So one of the things we didn't get to show last week, but I really wanted to, and just kind of ran out of time, was a tour of Starship. Have you guys seen this tour?
No.
Not Starliner. It's not Starship, Starliner.
Oh.
Yes. Sorry.
So I think I might have skimmed through it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to skim through it myself.
Yeah.
Let me go back, make sure that actually does this properly here. And share Boeing Starliner tour. Go back to that. Now that I'm getting better at this.
It's good, Derek.
Trying. And then if I full screenify it somewhere. I can't see my screen. There it is. There we go. Did I just...
Sunny!
it actually did the whole thing. Okay, so I think we're good here. So I'm going to...
Her hair is the whole vibe.
Starliner.
Hopefully the audio's okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sunny, and behind
I think the audio is fine. You guys hear it fine?
Pretty soon, so don't worry.
Yeah.
We're not going to deprive you.
Okay. So I'm going to fast forward here, and this is them going into Starliner. I just love seeing interior spacecraft views. It's really neat.
Into Starliner.
Her socks.
Yeah, she has... I think she's famous for having fun socks.
All right, going in.
I love it.
Actually, fun fact, I think the last time she was on the space station... Gosh, how long ago was that? That may have been like 10 years ago. But the last time, I think she'd lost one of her fun socks. I believe it was Sunny. But they couldn't find it, and so... I guess
the spider took it.
Yeah, exactly. It just got lost in the space station, fell behind a rack or something like that. Who knows? It's a big space station. And I think it was just a couple of years ago they found the sock. So I don't remember if they sent it back down to Earth for her or not, but just a little fun fact. That's there. So
funny. They probably did analysis on it. Data.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah.
IDA, the docking adapter, and then into the spacecraft. Here we are. Looks like a lot of bags.
Oh my gosh, that was
so
small.
Orange thing, which is our
what is that big tube?
That we get
what is that?
from the space station.
I think they describe it
We
here.
are docked to the space station.
I think they just describe it.
This is sort of the.
I think it's mostly for air circulation. Go back here.
So this big orange thing, which is our ventilation that we get from the space station while we are docked to the space station. So this is sort of the extra living area where if there was 4 crew members, 2 more seats would be here. Right underneath you, Butch, here is the hatch that was our hatch where we had our centerline camera, which helped us dock to the International Space Station. It was actually in the spot where Butch is, right here. And now, there
he
Butch
is.
coming in through the hatch.
That's funny.
All right. So
hatch.
We're going to bring you around the panel here to be into the commander and PLT seat. Want me to hold it over here?
Actually, while you're watching that, I'm going to grab something real quick.
In there.
Oh, it's dark. We can't show them anything.
It's dark outside right now? Yeah. Oh, bummer. That's okay.
Dark outside.
So we'll bring you in over here. There's a little orange equipment over here because that's our
I'll show you guys the size difference between Dragon and Starliner in a second.
Ready and outfitted with all sorts of
while
stuff.
that's going on, I'm going to
showing you a little bit about the back of my seat, the PLT seat, and there is Butch over there in the commander seat. I'm going to hand him the camera and pop into my seat. Oops.
Looks like they're
This
just
is
as
so cool.
looks like they're just as organized as I was today.
All right.
So,
Here we are in the front, sitting in the cockpit. So you actually have sort of the bird's eye view of where Butch's eyes were. Right now on the display, we actually have a tablet because while we're in the space station, we're
definitely
doing
a
some other
difference
activities on the tablet.
in
But this is
design
the control
features
panels,
from SpaceX's
one right
Dragon.
here and one there
Mhm.
on the tablet.
Dragon, I think there's
One
maybe a
right
dozen
here,
physical
and we
buttons,
can
and
operate
it's all
sorts of
touchscreen.
systems through the computer.
There's dozens of
screens.
buttons here.
We also have controls to fly the spacecraft. We have a rotational hand controller, and actually behind the camera, might be a little bit hard, is a translational hand controller, and that's how we were able to fly the spacecraft. If you remember us coming in for a rendezvous, or on the first day actually, we did a bunch of test points where we both flew the spacecraft, and then on the second day, of course, Butch is a commander sitting in the commander seat, got to do some manual piloting on the docking axis. So not only do we have the centerline camera, which would be displayed on a tablet. This is procedures. We'll just get rid of that for a second.
We don't need procedures.
The tablet would have the centerline camera on it right here. We also have a window. Unfortunately, it's dark right now, where Butch could also look outside and see. Actually, we were like 85 meters, and we could see the huge solar arrays from the International Space Station. So pretty cool, actually. What else do we want to say about it in here?
Oh, that's really
Do you
cool.
have a couple of words?
Tell them the scissors were not there during launch, I promise.
He's so funny.
There we go.
No, everything's been fantastic. The spacecraft is handled remarkably well, much better even than the simulator. And it's been just a positive event from start to finish. We practiced a safe haven event where we would use this as a lifeboat. If something, say a conjunction or something was about to intercede with the space station, some space debris, then we would all go scurry to our spacecraft and hunker down, and hopefully everything passed. But then we went through that process today, closing the hatches, everything, and it was quite a successful event as well. It looks probably a little cramped, and it's actually fairly roomy for just Sonny and myself, with just the two of us. Obviously,
Probably
you don't
roomy
need
for
a
what they're
large
used
cockpit,
to,
so it's
but
actually
cramped for
perfect
anybody
for
else.
us as far as for controlling
Hey, it's not the
spacecraft.
Soyuz.
That's true.
And of course,
Soyuz
all this
is
other area
cramped.
down here
Same
earlier
size
where you
as the
saw
cabin I
baggage
had
and
worked for
whatnot,
the
is
cruise
where
ship.
the other couple of crew members would be for the
It's very
next time
small.
the Starliner flies. Star 1 mission, there'll be two crew members down here. Why don't you go back around the side there, Sonny, and we'll show a little bit down there.
Where is the rest of? Looking at the press
We were
release.
hoping to show you the view out the window, but the timing for when we have the coverage of this capability to downlink the video and the sun is not cooperating today, so maybe we'll show you that another day.
The bags around our heads, behind our heads, have our spacesuits in them. Actually, it's all tidied up over there.
I'll just have to go through Ars Technica then, I guess.
Emergency equipment.
And the orange bags is part of our emergency equipment in case there was a fire or a depress event or an ammonia event on space station. We have all this equipment that we would use to clean up our atmosphere so we could depart and come back home. So all this is planned ahead of time and trained ahead of time, and there's a lot of effort by a lot of folks to get us ready and get all this equipment here and get it prepared. That device on the left over there is on the bulkhead. That's where our hatch, that's where we came in and out. You can't see it very well because that's a device right there that would actually clean the air for us if we
That's
had
cool.
some hazardous, toxic atmosphere for whatever reason in here. So we try to plan ahead for all possible contingencies. And these are also breathing masks that we have in here. We've got a big bottle we installed behind me down here full of nitrogen, oxygen, and this is where we would connect our breathing apparatus if we needed it as well. And of course, as Sonny said, these are not normally here. This is just bringing the fresh air down, and it flows in and flows back out. And that's what how all that works. All right. In case you were wondering, yes, Sonny and I are both naval aviators, so we put on our Navy paraphernalia to show off and be proud of our service. So thanks for all of you out there serving right now throughout the world, protecting freedom. So much appreciated by all of us. let's see here. What else? Why don't we float back out, and you can go. I'll go first, and you follow me.
Okay.
I think that's
we'll
pretty
end
much
this
it there. I'm
back
gonna
up.
pause here.
Hmm.
So yeah, what do you guys think?
That's really cool. I learned that one of the design inspirations actually came from the Apollo command module for the actual design.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, if you actually look at the shape here, yeah. Again, I don't know why this. There is. It keeps wanting to focus on my face. There we go.
There it is.
There we go. So this is my 1/100 scale model that I was working on last week, and this is
She's so cute.
the same scale for Dragon. So
Nice.
you can see the diameter difference here, and of course these are
Mhm.
for my model back behind me. And I'm curious what the actual volume, the habitable volume is difference. I need to look that up. But
Yeah,
I
they're not
wonder
too
if they're
much different.
comparable. Now, the diameter of Starliner is the second largest diameter heat shield for a crew capsule ever. The
Mhm.
largest is actually Orion, which will fly people next year.
That's cool.
Mhm.
Where we go?
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of curious now. Starliner. I'll just go to Wikipedia, source of all knowledge, right? Let's see. The volume of Starliner is 11 cubic meters, and I don't know if that's complete habitable volume or if it's, or whatever, but it says 11 cubic meters. We'll go with habitable. Let's see, and then Crew Dragon. I feel like Crew Dragon's less than that, but it might be roughly the same.
Yeah, I thought it was cool to learn it holds some heritage to the Apollo program.
The volume of Crew Dragon is 9.3 cubic meters, so a little bit less, but who's counting?
Mhm.
But yes, you can actually, yeah, there's a lot more room here. It's really, I think it is overall a bigger spacecraft than SpaceX, especially with the service module. If you look at the crew compartment here of Dragon, the bulk of everything is, including the abort motor and everything, and your thrusters, your fuel, is in this little bitty capsule here. Whereas here, the bulk of the capsule, let's see if I don't ruin this, because I got magnets here. There we go. The bulk of the capsule is just pressurized volume, and most of your consumables are in here. Now, granted, this looks bigger than it actually is. There's this, of course, this is not exactly what it looks like. There's actual, I think when the capsule comes out, detaches, I think you can actually see some of the actual tanks and whatnot in there probably. But there's actually, I think it's hollow in the center. So it's mostly just that outer ring that's got most of the consumables and everything in there. So it's not 100% like, oh, look at that huge service module, but it is a bigger service module than SpaceX. Now, SpaceX's Crew Dragon has obviously flown a lot more than Boeing's Starliner. And hopefully
Boeing's is they're made to last for up to 10 missions.
Yes.
Just
Both of them are 10 missions, reusable. So there's a lot of comparability there. It's just a little unfortunate that Boeing took so long. But better late than never, I suppose. By the way, the beverage I'm drinking, in case anybody wants to know, is Space Camper. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
what is it like?
Not sponsored. It's just
Sparkling water?
No, it's actually a beer. So
Okay.
So actually
Got the
use that.
good old nut case.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta show what everybody's drinking there.
Absolutely.
Nothing for Brandon?
No, I don't have anything today. I don't even have my prop water bottle on the table.
No props. So I'm gonna stop.
I have my
sharing this.
Starliner hat though.
There you go.
That's all that matters.
And, how are you doing on time, Brandon?
Doing all right. I think yeah, I'm gonna have to at least head out in about 30 minutes. But if you guys want to go a little longer,
I'm gonna show.
Feel free.
This other really cool photo that just popped out. It came up the other day. Look at that gorgeous photo. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's one of the most gorgeous photos from the space station I've seen in a while. And there's a lot of cool ones. Now, I know there's a video out there, but in the video you can kind of, it's like it's a time lapse. You can see in the window either Butch or Sunny looking out toward whoever's taking a photo from,
I did
from
saw that. I
Dragon.
saw
So,
Butch.
so
Yeah,
Just like
I love
cheesing from
those
the
videos.
window.
yeah. So to get to a little bit of
Told
a
'em they
new,
were waving.
get to a little bit of serious news about it, though. It sounds like there's a fifth helium leak. I'm just gonna read a little bit from.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna read a little bit from Jeff Faust's article on Space News, because I don't know all the particular details. These aren't huge leaks, but these are definitely things that need to be fixed before the next mission, because this is a test mission. That's what you want to do. You want to find all these problems out. But I guess in a statement, NASA said, let's see if I can actually read the NASA statement. That'd be even better. So actually, I might just read this press release from NASA on June 10th, which was about 6 days ago. So it sounds, see, so as part of NASA's Boeing crew flight test, Wilmore and Williams, along with teams on the ground, are stepping through numerous flight objectives following the arrival of Starliner to the space station on June 6th. I guess has it already been that long? It's been there for 10 days. Oh, by the way, the other news is that it is extended its mission to the 22nd. Yep. So they'll be up there for a little bit longer. The 22nd of June, yeah. Yeah, it was the 18th, but they moved it to the 22nd. I think part of that was the little spacewalk hiccup, but they might also just be letting them stay on there longer for a variety of reasons. There's a lot of fun, I say fun, but not really fun, speculation out there that they're having them stay up there because of the helium leak. It's not true. The helium leak is, from what I understand, is very manageable at the moment. But they're staying
they're
up there
doing extra,
Yeah, they're staying up there to get extra stuff done. See, some of the objectives they've been working
extra experiments.
Yeah. See, they've been working on powering the spacecraft down to minimal power mode. They've also been doing, like you said, the crew safe haven tests. They've emergency evacs. They've been performing habitability studies with multiple people staying in the spacecraft, not just the two. I think a lot of these are similar to what happened during SpaceX's Demo 2 mission. See, they're evaluating spacesuit seat fits as well as checkouts in the service module's batteries. They've also, I don't know if they've actually done it yet, but they were also going to quickly brief pulses, like 2 brief pulses of the thrusters while docked to the space station to kind of test those thrusters out. But I'm trying to figure out all the particular details about the leak. Excuse me. I'm going to read it here. One of Starliner's aft-facing reaction control system thrusters is capable of about 85 pounds of thrust. It remains deselected as teams continue to evaluate its performance. But ground teams plan to fire all 28 thrusters after undocking as well to collect additional data signatures on the service module before it's expended. Because the service module is going to burn up on reentry when they're done using it. So there are 5 small leaks in the service module helium manifolds, and the helium is what pressurizes the tanks so that they can actually, fire the thrusters. NASA and Boeing say there's plenty of margin to return home as far as helium. Now, it's not like somebody in the comments can correct me. As far as I know right now, it's actually not leaking. I think while things are shut down, nothing's leaking, if I'm understanding that correctly. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know in the comments or in the chat. But the big thing is once they actually undock, they'll be using those thrusters, which means they'll be expending the helium as well. And so they've got about, I think they said 70 hours of helium left in free flight activity while doing their undocking procedures. And it does not take them 70 hours to get home. It takes them, maybe 10 to 20 at most. So there's plenty of helium there. So yeah, that's all I have about that right now. And as far as Starliner, some minor updates. Again, this is not hard-hitting, fact, all the details. There's plenty of news articles out there for that. Mostly just having some fun talking about it. But we'll keep an eye on things. Hopefully things will go well, and hopefully they get them solved for Starliner 1, which is currently slated for February or March of next year with four people. Now that could get delayed again to like next August, but we'll see what happens after this mission once they certify everything.
I believe.
Yes, I think Starliner's time has come, but we'll see. I think the delays are all for the most part done, but these are normal hiccups for a new vehicle. Let me stop sharing this, go back to us. There we go. And so did you guys, to move on from topics, unless you guys have anything else you want to share or talk about on Starliner?
I think I'm
For
good.
Starliner, the only thing I have is they are conducting extra experiments related to microgravity effects on various biological and physical processes, which are critical for future long-duration space missions.
Is there any more? Are there any more details about that?
That's all I got.
That's all you got? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the payload that they put on Starliner, like everything they docked and put on the Starliner, they are experimenting on that kind of stuff for long duration processes. So I'm not sure. I heard about that too when we were visiting. Someone was talking about that. I'm not sure who, but we were visiting. Someone was talking about that. Their payload.
Yeah.
They're experimenting on. I don't know. That's interesting.
I do know they also had an extra piece of equipment for the urine processing assembly up on the space station. I imagine that's already offloaded and they've already done stuff with that.
Yeah.
I should, if I go into the technical side of NASA's, somewhere on NASA's website, they have a daily like list of everything that the crew did. So I should probably go check that out. It's very like acronym soup in there. So
acronym soup. Yeah.
So did you guys hear about the scary audio over the last week? So
yeah, I was a part of that.
What'd you think?
I was one of the scary audience.
Oh, well, you can be scared. Yeah, absolutely. It was, to be fair, there's a couple of things here. And I'm not going to call anybody out, to be fair, because it's not what I really want to talk about. But there's a couple things going on. First of all, that's an oops for NASA. So for those who don't know, do you know, Brandon?
I don't know what this is, no.
Oh, okay. I don't have the audio on hand. So you can actually watch NASA's, you can watch the International Space Station right now and listen to Space to Ground loops live. Anything they have public that goes through the loop. And usually you'll have, if there's cameras going on, they'll have the camera feed of the space station and the Earth going by, all that stuff. Usually there's no internal cameras for that particular loop, that particular live stream. So there's that. But randomly, what day was this? Was this on a Thursday?
Yeah, it was like, what's today, Sunday? Yeah, it was Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday. So,
don't quote me.
It's one of those days. Well, apparently, audio came down something to the effect of, and I want to preface this, nothing actually happened. So get that out of the way.
Emergency.
So, yeah. But because I don't want to accidentally, spread more, sensationalism or anything like that. But basically, the audio was something along the lines of they're getting the commander into a spacesuit as a hyperbolic pressure chamber. They are working with a flight surgeon who's stuck in LA traffic to try to get back to mission control. I assume SpaceX mission control, in order to help with the situation, and the prognosis was not good, apparently. And they were working on this. Audio also talked about how they were working on getting in contact with somebody in Spain, heavily implying that they might be undocking and deorbiting and splashing down over Spain to get this unnamed astronaut to facilities in Spain. It was a simulation. We'll get that clear right off the bat. It was a simulation that accidentally went through the public loop, which is a huge oops. And I think it took NASA maybe at least an hour and a half to actually release a statement, while all of us people on the ground were a little bit nervous. And it's like, is this real? Lots of speculation is the right word here. A lot of too much speculation. And I guess really what I wanted to go through on this one, and again, I'm not calling anybody out, because we all make mistakes. That's okay. But I think it's a good lesson for anybody in the space community, especially, people who are journalists. Context matters. It was definitely scary, but it was not breaking news. There's an emergency on the International Space Station with just the audio you heard on the space to ground loop. That is a serious enough not allegation, serious enough, well, not allegation, just topic. It's that you want to be sure before you start saying there is an emergency, definitively saying there's an emergency going on the space station. And so there was one or two people or groups that had basically, I think they kind of fed off each other, and from there, and they're usually credible sources, to be fair. And you basically, there's a whole thing in journalism called the two source rule. So you have one source, which is this audio feed. It sounded pretty scary, legit scary. We were all scared when we all heard that. But another source here would have been context. Calling somebody at NASA, finding somebody who worked at NASA. Hey, is this legit? What do you know? Even if it's an unnamed source, it doesn't really matter. But until you know for sure, the only thing you responsibly can do, and this is my personal opinion, and this is not against anybody who did it a different way. The responsible thing to do is say, hey, I heard this on the stream. Here's the clip, because you can physically hear it. That is, that happened. We're not sure what happened. We're reaching out. We're trying to find out more information, but nobody panic. But not do a live stream over it or anything like that, and start the speculation train, which I think is what ended up happening on Thursday. It was whatever night that was, Wednesday or Thursday night.
It was June 12th.
Yeah. At least this is from my take of things.
Wednesday.
And because of that, you had a lot of people speculating, a lot of people not even believing NASA once the statement did come down, not even believing anybody who did. Because I know people who work at Mission Control, and some of them were like, yeah, this is a sim. We don't know why it's broadcasting, but this is a sim. But nobody wanted to believe it because it was not NASA physically saying it from one of their press sites. So you kind of had this double standard of, well, we want to wait for an official confirmation from NASA, but nobody originally wanted to wait for an official confirmation from NASA that there was even anything going wrong in the first place. So now, to be fair, had this gone the other direction, nobody would be talking about jumping the gun. So there's that. So, but this becomes a kind of a crying wolf situation if you're not careful. And then when something serious is going on, you may not even believe it because, this, you say something serious happens all the time, whatever. You're slowly merging into tabloid territory if you're not careful. Anyway, that's my personal take on that. I could probably talk more. I think it's a good lesson for everybody to take a chill pill when these things happen and think through it, especially when you potentially have family members of crew members happen, because you know how things are shared on social media. These things can spread like wildfire, like this one did, and you could even have family of crew members who are like, wait, what's going on with my loved one, when really nothing's going on. And I guess if you'd thought about it a little bit further, and again, I'm not blaming anybody for this because I didn't know until I heard from the NASA statement, the astronauts were actually in their sleep period. There was nothing actually going on at that point. This station was quiet as a mouse. This simulation was only a ground simulation, so it didn't even involve the astronauts aboard the space station. But do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I like how they do these emergency sims so that ground control and Astros are well versed in managing emergencies. Really
yes, it's actually a really good insight on how real these simulations actually are for everybody, though. Again, I don't want to completely take this topic completely down the journalism, ethics, and responsibility route, because I think we all kind of know. But it was real scary, and seeing how realistic these sims are, it's actually kind of neat, all the way down to the person stuck in traffic. So
it was cool to see everyone kind of working together.
Yeah, exactly.
Because at the end of the day, it's really important.
Yeah, I think well said on both ends with the, how beneficial these simulations are, but then also, journalist standards, making sure that people don't jump the gun and
Ethical
Yeah, I didn't hear
adrenaline.
about this at all. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
news
yeah.
to me.
Mhm.
I
If
must have
you
been on my sleep period at the time.
yeah. There's a couple of back and forths I had with somebody um, on my Twitter. If you wanted to go look at some of the on my replies, you can see some of the details.
I did see it. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
the drama.
yeah. I don't want to get into
Derek's
the
about to
drama.
spill the tea.
Well, no, I don't want to get into the drama. To be fair, I was never part of the drama. Apparently, there were other people who were taking who were hating and threatening this other organization. I'm like, that's not cool either. That's not cool.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I don't know this other organization. I don't know their heart. They seem like they have their hearts in the right place. So mistakes happen. Just learn from it. That's all. So, but yeah,
Absolutely.
and again, it was a sim, ended up not being a sim just for the ground controllers. It was a sim for everybody else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows that team dynamic.
We all
Yes,
failed.
yes, we all failed in many
We
ways.
all failed.
To be fair, I even retweeted it once because I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really happening?
No, I was
then
too.
I unretweeted once I realized let's take a step back here. So,
Absolutely. It said commander. I was worried about Butch.
mhm. Or there could have been the commander of the Crew Dragon, could have been the commander of the entire International Space Station. So there's a lot of people it could have been. It ended up being nobody.
Yep.
So,
Which is good.
so it's very good, actually. Yeah, we're all happy about that. Honestly, that was one of the. I don't want to say that was one of the scariest things. It was a very scary instant. I think the scariest thing I've seen on the International Space Station was it 2021 when when the new Russian Nauka module docked to the International Space Station for the first time, and then they had thruster issues. Actually, it was mostly I think it was a computer programming issue that thought it didn't dock to the space station and wanted to try it to dock again. So it's already physically attached, and so you have this big football field sized complex starting to do barrel rolls slowly, to be fair, but decent speed. It did like a whole loop and a half, I think. This whole thing, and it was, like I said, it was in 2021. Before, I think the thrusters on Soyuz and Progress tried to counteract it a little bit. So you had this little bit of a teeter-totter thing, and then I think ultimately the fuel in the Nauka module ran out. I don't think they actually solved the problem. I think they just got lucky. But that, I think, right there was probably the scariest in recent times on the International Space Station.
That was a test.
Yeah, that plus the hole that happened on the Soyuz not long before that. Yes, we're getting this. It's getting old, the International Space Station. So
Getting a little dated, needs an update.
yeah. So anyway, what else was I going to talk about here? I lost my train of thought again.
Responsible reporting in journalism.
Yes, responsibility in journalism. Let's see. So we talked about that. There was also, unrelated to this, the next day there was a spacewalk, and they had to cancel the spacewalk. They were going to do some various maintenance on things. Oh gosh, what were they going to do? They were going to take, I think the big highlight of that spacewalk was supposed to be them, among other things, doing like swabs for bacteria on the U.S. side of the space station, on the external, on some hardware and everything. Doesn't really matter.
They needed to remove a faulty electronic box from the communications antenna and collect microorganism samples from the exterior of the ISS.
Thank you. You got it. There was that. And then, of course, it doesn't really matter because they had a suit discomfort issue. One of the two, it was probably Matthew Dominic. The other was Tracy Caldwell Dyson. Or Tracy, is it Tracy Dyson? I think Tracy Dyson. Yes. And Dominic, yeah. And from what I understand, it sounds like there was some private medical conferences going on with Matthew Dominic. So the discomfort was probably from him. So it could have been anything, and it sounds like, and when pressed upon it, NASA basically said it was a private health matter with the astronauts, which makes sense. It's all them.
Yeah, so, I heard they were like right about to walk, and then
they were within an hour of going out there. Yeah. So
they're scheduled for June 24th or July 2nd is the next spacewalk. Yep.
So I think that's part of the reason why they delayed the Starliner undocking as well, so they can maybe that's not related. don't quote me on that. So,
Mhm.
so,
I know.
so yeah. I know a lot of people wanted to know the reason for that. We may never know. I know there were some jokes on the internet about bodily functions. Could have been that. Honestly, my take on it is it could have easily have just been he stretched a little bit. I know they've been up there for a little bit, for what, 3 months now, I think. But I don't know when the last time they did a suit check, a spacesuit fit. It was probably a week or two ago. Again, don't quote me on that. It could have been two days before this. But usually they do suit fit checks to make sure everything's fitting correctly. And maybe he had a growth spurt, a stretch spurt, not really growing. It just, there's not gravity pulling down. I'm talking with my hands here, but there's not gravity compressing you in space. And so you'll stretch out a little bit. I don't know.
I want to try that.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you guys not know that?
I had no idea.
Yeah. So
I'm 4'11". That'd be nice.
So yeah, I think the amount varies from person to person. It could be, I think, maybe even up to an inch. Maybe it's a couple inches, but that seems like a lot. But yeah, you actually stretch a little bit, and so when you get into a spacesuit after all that time, and if you haven't checked it, you might feel a little tight. It could have also just been something as simple as the glove wasn't fitting right. You don't want to go out there for 8 hours. Even though the spacewalk might be 6 hours, you're still in that suit for 8, 9, 10 hours. And if it's not going to feel good, if it's starting to like maybe cut into your finger or something like that over a long period of time, that you might start doing some damage to yourself. So
yeah, I read the gloves the Astros wear are one of the most challenging components of the spacesuit design and the use. Because they have to be flexible enough for delicate tasks, but robust enough to withstand harsh environments.
Absolutely.
So they're kind of crazy.
Yep. So who knows what it'll be? We may never know, but just an interesting thing about spacewalks, just the everyday life on the space station. So
Cool though.
Anything else you guys want to talk about Starliner or the International Space Station in general?
I don't think I have anything.
Sorry, I looked away from my screen there. So the next.
I think there's Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you're going. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the next event I think is the GOES-U satellite.
Yes, that's not space station related, but yes, GOES-U. When is that?
What is that? SpaceX?
It's launching atop a Falcon Heavy. It's I think the satellite, the GOES-U satellite, just got to the Cape Canaveral facilities for processing.
I saw that.
Okay, where is Artemis? There it is. Okay. So where is it? I'm gonna move on really quickly to Artemis. Are you still doing good on time, Brennan?
I should probably head out. But you guys go ahead without me, I guess.
It's so sad.
Oh. Well, is tonight. But get this out of the way, and this is for anybody in the comments in the future or currently. Does Sunday evenings work for everybody?
Yeah,
Good?
typically.
Okay.
I just got some stuff I gotta do.
Yeah, I can change the time too if it would be better if I moved it up a bit or moved it back a bit. I'm not so set on this particular. It's 6:30 my time when I start and 7:30 Eastern, and what is it, 4:30 your time? Am I right? Yeah. 23:30 UTC.
I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to get my sleep schedule on the astronauts.
Yeah, they run on Greenwich Mean Time, so generally
I'm awake when they're awake.
Yeah, I've thought about that sometime, but that's just you basically moved to the UK. So, let me see if I can grab real quick here a graphic I made a while ago. Come on, graphics. Come on, I'll share my screen real quick, and I'll try to see if I can speed through this before you end up having to leave. But if you have to leave, you have to leave. SLS with the extra S. I don't know if this is the updated version or not. So a while ago I made this. That's not the accurate one. Maybe it's this one. well, there's a fact error here, but it wasn't a fact error when I made it. So, but I will go ahead and share my screen real quick as soon as it, well, someday it wants to load. Let's do that. I'll just correct the record as soon as I pull it up. Sharing my screen, and there's the Discord. Is it, oh, is a window I have to, no. Is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? Okay. There we go. Share that. You guys should see that. You guys see it?
Oh, your SLS core stage.
Yes.
Or no, your SLS.
So if you points to anybody who can discover the fact error here. Besides, again, this was before it launched, so there's a few other things here, like no earlier than 2021. There's probably a few things that are out of date about this graphic, but the fact error here is the largest rocket stage ever built.
Rocket stage. I knew it.
Yes, it is actually not the case anymore. That is Starship. But before, it's a very, Starship is, the first stage of Starship is a little bit bigger, but it's the correct verbiage, which I have on a graphic that I can't seem to find, is the largest rocket stage NASA has ever built. So, or Boeing in this case, but it's, So the core stage for Artemis 2 will be shipping to Kennedy Space Center in July, no earlier than July. So things are starting to happening for the next Artemis mission. Now, I like to show this because this kind of shows what the core stage looks like in relation to the space shuttle. So if you guys remember seeing the space shuttle at Kennedy Space Center Visitors Complex. So you can kind of see the side there, and you can kind of see how big the core stage actually is. If you look at the left-hand side of this graphic. And it's 5 parts, and it takes a couple of years to build. But this whole thing is coming to Kennedy. I'm going to go ahead and stop streaming this here, unless you guys wanted to keep looking at it. See, cancel. Okay, but yeah, this whole thing is shipping to Kennedy Space Center in July, late July, maybe early August. Things slip a little bit. And I think right after that, the mobile launcher that is currently at Launch Complex 39B should move into the High Bay 3 at the Vehicle Assembly Building. I don't know when stacking is officially going to commence, but that means we're really starting to get into stacking flow now for the next mission. Whenever they do start, which I imagine they're going to wait to start until they figure out the heat shield issues for Artemis 2, because there are some things they still have to close out for the heat shield that they discovered during the Artemis 1 mission. But stacking should begin, I want to say it's sometime late fall, but don't quote me on that. It's somewhere around there. And what will happen is the boosters will start stacking on the mobile launch platform. But once the boosters are stacked, then they'll take the core stage and lift it up and over those high bay, the high bay, from the transfer aisle into the high bay, and we'll start seeing a big rocket again. I'm super excited to start seeing this thing assembled. It's,
you guys coming out in July for it?
Well, not for this, not for the core stage arrival, because what'll happen is they'll bring, it's made in New Orleans, and so they'll actually ship it in the Pegasus barge. It's a giant barge, and they'll ship it, and it'll dock at the gosh, I'm trying to remember where you guys were at the countdown clock, but where you were supposed to, or where we were supposed to watch Starliner launch was at the dock. I think when
Michoud Assembly Facility.
The Michoud Assembly, that's in New Orleans. Yeah, the Michoud Assembly Facility. Yeah. And that'll ship to the Kennedy Space Center, and they'll unload it, and they'll bring it into the transfer aisle. Basically, the giant doors next to where we went in, that's where it's going to be placed into. It'll be in the low bay area for a while for checkouts before they move it over, shuffle it over a little bit for the high bay. So that, plus there's also, I know Brandon's got to go, so I'll let you duck out if you need to. So, but the only other thing I was going to say, because we're almost done, the only other thing I wanted to mention was the, I'll bring it here, the pressure module for this part here, the Habitation and Logistics Outpost, the HALO module, the pressure module for that, the actual cylinder part, not the end caps, is pretty much done, and they just have to put the end caps on, and then they'll ship it. I think they'll ship it pretty soon after that to the United States somewhere to finish final assembly. I'm not sure where they're going to ship it to actually, but it's built in. It's actually built. This part is actually built in. I know I just went from SLS to Gateway. I realized that. So I hope I didn't have whiplash for anybody listening to this. So, but yeah, this part up here is being built in Italy. At least the pressure module. But yeah, the pressure module for that is coming along, and I think they're supposed to ship it later, maybe early next year. I'm trying to remember where they're shipping it to. I thought it was Houston, but maybe it's another place. But it is what it is. I'll figure that out for next time. So yeah. Anything you guys want to talk about Artemis?
I'm just excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's not excited about Artemis? I know there are some people that are not excited about it, but those people, they can go play with something else. So
sure, they're Legos.
Who's not excited? The Lego Artemis.
Oh gosh, don't talk about that. I really want it. It's just
Lego SL with this.
Yeah, that's
launch stand.
Almost $300. That's a trip to Starbase.
If they came out with Starliner.
Well, we could probably find one online to make. So, I like Lego. If you couldn't tell,
I love Legos.
Yeah,
grew up on Legos and Lincoln vlogs.
Yeah. So
I'm not a huge Lego person, but that Lego SLS on the stand and everything, it's just that's cool.
You want to go 50-50 and have visitation rights?
Right.
That's funny.
Maybe,
oh man,
maybe.
Yeah. It does look really neat. There's a few minor quips I've got about the design of the Lego SLS, but nothing's perfect. It's Lego. It's not a die-cast model. So yeah. I know I just kind of abbreviated SLS in Gateway updates, but we are getting to about an hour into this. I think we'll probably wrap it up. We'll let Brandon go do whatever he needs to do. And then I need to get some water. So yeah. So I'll go ahead and close this out. Thanks everybody for watching. If you guys have any suggestions about things we should cover in the next one, let me know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe this video. And I'm trying to find my way to the live stream tab over here. So like and subscribe this video if you liked it, and if you didn't, just be sure you hit the like button and the dislike button twice. So and so yeah, I don't know what else to say except everybody have a good, awesome space-tacular weekend, rest of your weekend, and a good space week. And until next time, Ad Astra.
Stay hydrated, stay nerdy.
Indeed. I like that. We'll go with that.